You already know when something's wrong. That gnawing feeling in your gut, that quiet voice you keep silencing, it's been right all along. But here's what makes this situation particularly insidious. You've been trained to ignore your own instincts in favor of hope. You tell yourself stories. She's just stressed with work. She needs space right now. Once things calm down, it'll be like it was before. But deep down, in that place you don't like to visit, you know that the woman you're chasing doesn't exist anymore, if she ever did. This isn't just about a relationship going south. This is about the systematic erosion of your self-respect. One rationalization at a time. Every day you spend decoding mixed signals is a day you're not building yourself. Every hour you waste analyzing her behavior is an hour you could spend becoming undeniable. Every moment of anxiety you experience trying to figure out what she really means is a moment of peace you've surrendered. The mathematics here are brutal. While you're investing 100% of your emotional energy trying to understand her inconsistencies, she's investing maybe 15% of hers keeping you on the hook. That's not a relationship. That's a transaction where you're getting robbed. But why does this happen? Why do intelligent, capable men find themselves trapped in these patterns? Because you've been sold a narrative that patience, understanding, and persistence are always virtues. They're not. Sometimes they're just polite words for tolerating disrespect. Today, we're going to dissect the three core psychological mechanisms that women use, often unconsciously, to keep you emotionally invested while offering nothing substantial in return. This isn't about demonizing women or playing victim. This is about understanding human behavior so you can make informed decisions about where you invest your finite time and energy. If you're serious about reclaiming your power and your peace of mind, subscribe right now. This channel exists to build men who operate from clarity, not confusion, from abundance, not scarcity, from self-respect, not self-doubt. Signal 1. Intermittent reinforcement, the slot machine of affection. Picture this. Silence for 5 days. Then, out of nowhere, a text at 11:47. Thinking about you. Your phone lights up, your chest gets warm, and suddenly all those doubts from the past week evaporate. She's back. She does care. You just needed to be patient. Then, nothing again. 3 more days of silence. You text her something casual. She responds 8 hours later with a single emoji. You tell yourself she's busy. Another 4 days pass. You're starting to detach, to accept reality, to move on, and then, boom, she calls you. A real conversation. Laughs, inside jokes. We should definitely hang out this week. You're back in. Does this sound familiar? It should, because this is one of the oldest manipulation tactics in human psychology, and it doesn't just work. It works devastatingly well. The psychology behind it. In the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner discovered something remarkable. Intermittent reinforcement creates stronger behavioral conditioning than consistent reinforcement. When rats received food pellets at random intervals rather than after every lever press, they pressed the lever more obsessively, more desperately, and for far longer periods, even when the food stopped coming entirely. Casinos have built empires on this principle. Slot machines don't pay out consistently. They pay out randomly. That randomness, that unpredictability, is precisely what makes them addictive. Your brain releases dopamine not when you get the reward, but in anticipation of potentially getting it. The uncertainty itself becomes the drug. Now apply this to human relationships. When her attention is consistent and reliable, your brain adapts. It's pleasant, but it's predictable. But when her attention is sporadic, when you never know when the next text, the next warm moment, the next sign of interest will come, your brain goes into overdrive. You become hyper-focused on her, constantly checking your phone, analyzing every small interaction, living in a state of perpetual anticipation. Here's the dark part. She doesn't even need to be doing this consciously. The mechanism works whether it's intentional manipulation or just her genuine disinterest expressed through inconsistency. The effect on you is identical. Why it works so well. This pattern exploits a fundamental vulnerability in male psychology. Men are problem solvers by nature. When something isn't working, your instinct is to try harder, to find the solution, to persist. Intermittent reinforcement transforms your relationship into a puzzle that always seems solvable. If you just wait a little longer, if you just say the right thing, if you just demonstrate more value, you keep pulling the lever because occasionally it pays out. Moreover, when someone has been consistently warm and attentive before, your brain creates a baseline expectation. When their attention suddenly becomes sporadic, you don't recalibrate your expectations downward. You try to get back to that initial baseline. You're not chasing who she is now. You're chasing who she was during the honeymoon phase, which may have been a performance to secure your interest in the first place. The reality check. Let me be crystal clear. A woman who genuinely desires you will not be inconsistent. She will make time. She will respond. She will show up. Not because she's perfect, not because she has unlimited free time, but because when you value something, you protect it. When you desire someone, you pursue them. If her attention feels like winning the lottery, rare, random, and leaving you wanting more, you're not in a relationship. You're in a psychological experiment where you're both the subject and the funding. Your action steps stop, rewarding inconsistency with your presence. When she goes silent for days, then pops back with breadcrumbs, don't leap at the opportunity. Respond if you want, but with the same energy she's giving you, with minimal and delayed. Better yet, use that sporadic attention as the exit ramp it actually is. A woman who wants you doesn't make you guess. Signal 2, the alignment break. When words and actions divorce. She tells you you're special. She says she's never met anyone like you. She compliments your ambition, your character, your potential. The conversations are deep, meaningful, filled with mutual understanding. On paper, in words, you're perfect together. But then reality intrudes. You try to make concrete plans. She's suddenly swamped with work. You need support during a difficult time. She's dealing with her own stuff. You want to take the relationship public or define what you are. She needs more time. She doesn't like labels. She wants to keep things organic. You focus on what she says because words are comforting. Words are evidence you can replay in your mind, but you're ignoring what she does because actions are uncomfortable. Actions reveal truth. The psychology behind it. This is called cognitive dissonance exploitation. Your brain naturally seeks consistency and coherence. When someone's words say one thing, but their actions say another, it creates psychological tension. Rather than confronting the uncomfortable truth, most people resolve this tension by giving disproportionate weight to words over actions, because words are what we want to hear. This allows her to keep you invested with minimal effort. Saying, "You're important to me," costs nothing. It takes 5 seconds and zero sacrifice. But actually prioritizing you, rearranging her schedule, introducing you to her friends, making you a visible part of her life, that requires real investment, real risk, and real commitment. Here's what most men miss. Words are the cheapest currency in the human economy. They depreciate instantly. Actions, however, are expensive. They cost time, opportunity, social capital, and vulnerability. When someone loves you, respects you, truly desires you, their actions will match their words not because they're trying to prove something, but because authenticity is effortless. The manipulation mechanism? She's not necessarily lying when she says nice things. In that moment, she might even believe what she's saying. The issue is that her feelings exist in a vacuum, disconnected from any obligation to act consistently with those feelings. This allows her to enjoy the emotional warmth of connection without accepting any of the responsibilities that come with it. You become her emotional vending machine. She deposits words, extracts validation and attention, then walks away until she needs another transaction. Meanwhile, you're left holding receipts, her nice words, and wondering why you feel empty despite all this supposed affection. The red flags to watch for financial investment. Does she ever pay? Does she contribute? Or are you always the one picking up the tab while she forgot her wallet? Or we'll get the next one that never comes. Time investment. Does she proactively make time for you, or are you always the one suggesting plans that she then passively agrees to or cancels? Social investment. Have you met her friends, her family? Does she post about you or include you in her social media life? Or are you kept conveniently compartmentalized? Emotional investment. When you're struggling, does she show up? Or does she have a convenient crisis of her own that requires your support instead? If you're getting words but not investment, you're getting played. It's that simple. Your action step: implement this mental framework. For the next 2 weeks, completely ignore everything she says. Focus exclusively on what she does. How often does she initiate contact? How much effort does she put into seeing you? How much does she sacrifice for your connection? If the behavioral evidence doesn't match the verbal promises, you have your answer. Stop arguing with reality. Stop hoping she'll change. Act on what is, not what she says will be. Signal 3, the proximity ploy: intimate but never committed. You have incredible conversations. Late night phone calls where you share childhood wounds, future dreams, philosophical musings. She tells you things she claims she's never told anyone else. You feel like you're building something profound, something real. There's emotional nakedness here that feels like genuine intimacy. But weeks turn into months and nothing actually progresses. You're not her boyfriend. You're not meeting each other's people. You're not making future plans. When you try to define the relationship or push for more commitment, she retreats into vagueness. I don't want to ruin what we have. I'm not ready for a relationship right now. Can't we just enjoy this? You're close, but never close enough. You're intimate, but never committed. You're special, but never chosen. The psychology behind it: this is emotional tethering, creating enough connection to maintain your investment while withholding the commitment that would require her to invest equally. She's getting all the benefits of a relationship: emotional support, validation, attention, the excitement of connection, without any of the costs: exclusivity, accountability, public commitment, vulnerability to rejection. Psychologically, you're filling a role in her life without having a title. You're the placeholder boyfriend, the emotional backup, the safe option she maintains while exploring others or simply enjoying her freedom. You're the security blanket she can cuddle when she's lonely, but not the man she proudly claims in daylight. Why this is particularly damaging? Particularly, of the three signals, this one is perhaps the cruelest because it feels the most like love. The emotional intimacy is real. She's actually sharing with you, connecting with you. But emotional intimacy without progression isn't love, it's exploitation of your capacity for connection. Real intimacy creates momentum. When two people genuinely connect on a deep level and are both available and interested, the relationship naturally progresses. You meet each other's worlds. You make future plans, you integrate your lives. Stagnation isn't a sign of depth, it's a sign of reservation. She's keeping you in orbit, close enough to access when needed, but far enough away to maintain her complete freedom. You're her moon, perpetually circling, perpetually pulled toward her, but never landing, never merging, never becoming part of her actual world. The uncomfortable truth: if you're 6 months into deep, meaningful conversations but still in relationship limbo, she doesn't want you the way you want her. A woman who's genuinely excited about you, who sees you as her future, who desires you completely, will not be content to keep things vague. She'll want to lock you down, claim you, make sure other women know you're taken. The fact that she's comfortable keeping things ambiguous tells you everything. She's comfortable because she's not afraid of losing you. And she's not afraid of losing you because she doesn't see you as irreplaceable. Your action step: stop accepting intimacy without commitment. If you've been in this pattern for more than a couple months, it's time for a direct conversation followed by direct action. Tell her clearly what you want. If she can't give you a clear yes, treat it as a no, not a maybe later, not a let's see, but a no. Then walk away. Not as punishment, not as a tactic, but as self-respect. You deserve someone who is sure about you. If she realizes what she's lost and comes back with genuine commitment, you can reconsider, but don't wait around hoping. Redirect that emotional energy towards someone who doesn't need to lose you to appreciate you. The deeper lesson: masculine clarity versus feminine chaos. Here's what ties all three signals together. They all create uncertainty. Intermittent reinforcement makes her attention uncertain. Word-action misalignment makes her intentions uncertain. Emotional tethering makes your future uncertain. And uncertainty is kryptonite to masculine peace. Your power as a man comes from clarity, knowing what you want, what you'll accept, and what you won't tolerate. When you're caught in these patterns, you're operating from a place of confusion, always seeking, always analyzing, always hoping for clarity that never comes. This isn't accidental. On some level, conscious or not, maintaining your uncertainty maintains her control. As long as you're confused, you're not deciding. As long as you're not deciding, you're staying. As long as you're staying, she can continue extracting value without offering commitment. Your job is to enforce clarity. That doesn't mean being rigid or inflexible. It means having standards and boundaries that you actually maintain. It means observing patterns instead of isolated incidents. It means trusting your gut when something feels off instead of manufacturing explanations for why it's actually fine. Real love doesn't require decoding. Real desire doesn't hide behind ambiguity. Real commitment doesn't play games. If you're exhausted from trying to figure her out, that exhaustion is the message. If you're anxious about where you stand, that anxiety is the answer. If you're constantly wondering whether she actually cares, she doesn't. Not in the way you need her to. The most powerful thing you can do is walk away from anything that doesn't serve you. Not in anger, not in resentment, but in self preservation. Because your time, your energy, and your emotional well being are finite resources, and investing them in someone who won't match your investment is the worst deal you'll ever make. When you value yourself enough to enforce your standards, one of two things happens. Either she steps up and becomes the woman you deserve, or she disappears. And both outcomes are wins. Because you'll either get the relationship you want, or you'll free yourself to find it elsewhere. Subscribe if this resonated. Drop a comment letting me know which signal you've experienced. And remember, respect isn't requested, it's commanded through your unwillingness to accept anything less.